Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. We'll kick things off tonight with a look at the weather. We are now halfway through April, but tonight parts of the inland Northwest will see some snow along with some cold temperatures. Let's get straight to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo for what we need to know. Jeremy?
Well, Mark, first things first, snow has a very specific smell. And I swear I smelled it when I was coming in, or maybe that's just me trying to verify my forecast, but here we are.
All right.
Let's talk about it. Right now we sit at 43 degrees. Temps dropping off quickly out ahead of our next round of showers, we'll call them right now. But that round of showers is all thanks to a storm, and that storm worked its way ashore just moments ago, and as it moves in, we're going to get some of that energy moving through much of the inland Northwest. Right now, it's kind of the prefrontal activity. Notice we've seen even a little bit of lightning out in central Washington. That system's now working its way toward Grand Coulee and starting to fall apart rather quickly, but that one, not really the one I'm concerned with. The one I'm really watching out for is the one that arrives in the middle of the night. Notice what happens. It starts out as rain, likely some heavy rain and likely a little bit of embedded convection in places with that, but eventually we wind up getting snow and a lot of it. By tomorrow morning, that snow starts moving out, and I do think we wind up seeing some snowflakes fly here in Spokane. The magical thing is going to be at what level. I think downtown you're good. I think the South Hill you see it fly, but it doesn't stick. Scattered showers tomorrow afternoon eventually move out, and then we're back to that same pattern that we've been, I don't want to say stuck in, but yes, stuck in for the past few weeks. Highs near 50, lows near freezing, and scattered showers every afternoon.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. Thank you very much. Well, it is down to the wire for filing your taxes on time. The deadline this year is tomorrow. The tax deadline was extended this year because Emancipation Day happened on Saturday, and since it was on the weekend, it's observed today. So if you can't make tomorrow's deadline, make sure to file for an extension. If you file for an extension, you'll have until October 16th to file your return. A Coeur d'Alene gun club is now offering a $5,000 reward as deputies search for the person who fired more than 20 rounds at their building. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk shows us the damage and the evidence left behind.
We started in 1989 as a place to have a nice family-oriented, safe place to go and shoot.
Robert Smith is the founder of the Fernand Rodden Gun Club, and more recently, he's been playing detective, trying to figure out who fired more than 20 rounds at their building, causing $8,500 worth of damage.
This is probably the worst act of vandalism we had in 34 years.
There's bullet holes in the door, cabinets, and the floor.
The rounds came through the wall here, bounced off the floor, destroyed this garbage can, and most all the hits were fortunately absorbed by the stove here.
Smith says whoever shot up the place parked on the road above. It's where he found shell casings. The club has cameras everywhere, and he shared video with deputies showing the suspect's car.
We have it on camera coming in and going out. We've been piling up the evidence and building the case.
The club is now offering a $5,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest and conviction.
We posted a reward not because of damage. We have insurance like any other business or nonprofit that we are. Okay, but more importantly, someone didn't know nor did they care that someone could have been in here. Okay, they could have caused seriously injury or death.
The shooting happened around 4:30 in the morning on March 25th. An instructor was in the building just 2 hours after it happened.
He could have easily been standing right here, brewing a cup of tea, and it would have killed him.
Smith does not believe the shooter was a member.
Probably a good idea to come forward while you can still make your excuses or whatever, and everyone will take a look at that, maybe get some slack cut. Or, again, this is what cops do for a living. You can wait for the knock on the door, at which point all bets are off.
Reporting in North Idaho, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
New tonight, Starbucks workers at the Wellesley and Belt location have filed a petition with the National Labor Relations Board to unionize with Starbucks Workers United. According to a press release, the workers are unionizing to combat the coffee giants' hour cuts, inadequate staffing, disregard for public safety, and the, quote, refusal to bargain with the union in good faith. A barista at the coffee shop says that unionizing will give Starbucks an opportunity to follow through and provide partners with fair wages and hours. Also new tonight, the Spokane City Council has approved a resolution with the intent to transition the Cannon Street shelter into a medical respite facility for homeless people. With this resolution, the city hopes to free up hospital beds and other shelter space. Council members say many people remaining at the homeless camp by I-90 are medically fragile and not eligible for services at the Trent shelter. Spokane City Council says the current contract to operate the shelter as a drop-in shelter expires on May 31st. This transition could be completed by June of 2023. And just into our newsroom tonight, according to the Whitman County Sheriff's Office, the 2 missing kids from Whitman County have been found safe in Seattle. The Sheriff's Office has made contact with friends and family members of the kids. They say they are urging involved family members to cooperate with authorities. And now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. A bill allowing for more police chases has passed the Washington State Senate and is now heading to the governor's desk for his signature. Governor Jay Inslee is expected to sign the bill into law. It lowers the threshold for when police can chase after someone. As it stands right now, authorities need evidence of a crime before they can follow. Under the version finalized by the state Senate today, police can chase someone if the officer has reasonable suspicion of a crime. But chases would only be allowed for sexual or violent crimes, DUI, escape, and vehicular assault. Critics, including police, hope that list would include burglary and car theft. Well, lawmakers in Olympia have until Sunday to finalize other major bills. Some of the big ones still on the table: a new 2-year budget, a drug possession law, a bill which would ban the sale of so-called assault weapons, and a new possible transportation budget to pay for road projects all across the state. Spokane police are continuing to investigate 4 armed robberies over the weekend in North Spokane as the suspect made his first court appearance. According to police, the robberies happened in a 2-hour span between 7:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. 37-year-old Tyson Foster is currently facing nearly a dozen counts, including burglary, assault, and unlawful possession. Police say additional charges are also possible. Foster is set to appear back in court on April 25th. Idaho Governor Brad Little made a stop in North Idaho today to celebrate the first 100 days of the Idaho legislative session. Governor Little says he has achieved nearly everything he wanted in his Idaho First initiative, like one of the largest investments in education. But he was also asked some difficult questions about the legislation that some people say is pushing people out of Idaho. $330 million will go into education, with starting pay for teachers rising to just over $47,000. Another $80 million will help students pursue in-demand career technical education. Meanwhile, KREM 2 pressed the governor about his latest law, which prevents adults from taking minors without their parents' consent across state lines for abortions. Washington Governor Jay Inslee urged Little not to sign that.
We'll have a response shortly. I don't believe he understood everything about it, but we'll be talking about it, what, Emily, in a week or so? Later this week.
We also asked the governor if he plans to meet with Governor Inslee. He says his office will respond to Inslee. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word NIGHT to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. In national headlines this evening, 4 people are dead, more than 24 injured after a shooting at a Sweet 16 party in Alabama over the weekend. Authorities say they have strong leads but have not released any information about possible suspects. 18-year-old Phil was one of 4 people killed. His little sister says her brother's final act was to protect her from the gunfire. After the shooting ended, she found Phil covered in blood and held him until he died. The high school senior was set to graduate next month and play football for Jacksonville State in the fall. His mother was shot twice and is holding out hope authorities track down those responsible. And in Kansas City, a county prosecutor has charged an 85-year-old white man for shooting a black teenager twice, including once in the head. Police say Ralph Yarl went to the wrong address, going to Northeast 115th Street instead of Northeast 115th Terrace, just 1 block away, to pick up his younger brothers. He rang the doorbell, and moments later, multiple shots were fired. The teen's aunt says he ran for help, knocking on 3 more doors before someone called 911. Yarl is now recovering at home. Late this evening, the Clay County prosecutor announced 2 felony charges against 85-year-old Andrew Lester, who he says was a racial factor to the shooting, something the Kansas City mayor agrees with.
Something like this happening is unimaginable and it's unbelievable. And it's hard to expect that something like this would happen if Ralph weren't black.
One of the felony charges against the suspect carries a potential life sentence. A warrant has been issued for his arrest.